There are moments in history when an entire nation seemed trapped, with no way out. They lived in oppression, in suffering, unable to see even a flicker of light ahead. Their cries echoed in the night, but it felt as though no one was listening. Yet, in the midst of that darkness, one man was chosen to be a torchbearer, to lead them forward. He was not a mighty king, nor a powerful general. He was once an abandoned child, drifting helplessly on the Nile. He grew up torn between two identities, made mistakes, even fled in fear. And yet, he was the one God chose to lead his people out of slavery, across the sea, and into freedom. This is the story of Moses, the chosen one. A journey filled with trials and despair, yet also overflowing with faith and hope. It is not just an ancient tale written in the Bible. It is a timeless lesson for us today. For each of us faces our own sea. And in those moments, faith is the key that opens a path where none seems to exist. The story begins in Egypt. The Israelites, descendants of Jacob, had multiplied greatly and become strong. The Pharaoh grew fearful that if war came, these foreigners might side with Egypt's enemies. So he enslaved them. Day after day, the Israelites made bricks, hauled stones, and built Pharaoh's store cities. Under the scorching desert sun, their backs bent, their hands grew calloused, and sweat dripped onto the burning sand. The crack of whips echoed across the fields. The cries of men, women, and children rose into the night. Their meals were meager, their sleep restless, and their children grew up in fear. To ensure they never grew too strong, Pharaoh issued a brutal decree. Every Israelite baby boy was to be thrown into the Nile. It was the most heartbreaking of commands. Mothers clutched their infants, tears streaming down their faces, powerless to save them. Every newborn cry cut like a knife through their souls. And yet, even in the darkness, they prayed. They clung to the promise that the God of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, still saw them, still heard them, and would not abandon them forever. In this time, an Israelite woman gave birth to a son. Knowing she could not hide him, she placed the child in a basket coated with tar and pitch and set it afloat on the Nile. The basket drifted along the waters until it reached the place where Pharaoh's daughter was bathing. She heard the baby's cry. Her heart was moved with compassion, and she adopted him. She named him Moses, meaning drawn out of the water. Moses grew up in the grandeur of Pharaoh's palace. He studied mathematics, science, literature, and the mysteries of Egypt. He wore fine linen garments, ate the richest food, and walked the halls lined with towering stone columns. And yet, every time he looked upon the Israelites in chains, his heart ached. He knew he was one of them. He lived with an unshakable conflict inside him, a prince of Egypt, but also a son of Israel. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian overseer beating a Hebrew slave. Rage boiled within him. He struck the Egyptian down and buried the body in the sand. But the deed did not stay hidden for long. Pharaoh heard of it and sought to kill him. Moses fled into the land of Midian. There he defended the daughters of a local priest, married one of them, and settled as a shepherd. From a prince with privilege, he became an anonymous wanderer, tending sheep under the vast desert sky. Years passed, and Moses thought his life would end in quiet obscurity, but God had another plan. While tending his flock near Mount Horeb, Moses saw something astonishing, a bush ablaze with fire, yet not consumed. Curious, he approached. Then came a voice, "Moses, Moses!" Startled, he replied, "Here I am." God spoke, "Do not come closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries. Now I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of slavery." Moses trembled. "Who am I to go before Pharaoh? I am slow of speech. I cannot lead." But God answered, "I will be with you. I will put words in your mouth. Your brother Aaron will speak for you. Go. I have chosen you." In that moment, the fugitive shepherd became the chosen messenger of God. Moses returned to Egypt with Aaron. Standing before Pharaoh, he declared, "The Lord, the God of Israel, says, 'Let my people go.'" Pharaoh hardened his heart. "I do not know this, Lord. I will not let them go." And so the plagues began. 1. Water to blood. The Nile turned red, fish died, the stench filled the air. Egyptians could not drink. 2. Frogs. They swarmed into houses, beds, ovens, everywhere. Ignace were tiny insects covered people and animals, biting relentlessly. Flies. Thick swarms darkened the skies, filling every room. 5. Livestock disease. Horses, camels, cattle, and sheep of Egypt perished. 6. Boils. Painful sores broke out on the skin of Egyptians and their animals. 7. Hailstorm. Thunder and hail shattered crops, stripped trees, destroyed fields. 8. Locusts. Swarms devoured what little was left after the hail. 9. Darkness. Thick darkness covered the land for 3 days. No one moved. 10. Death of the firstborn. From Pharaoh's palace to the poorest home, every firstborn son died. But the Israelites, who had marked their doors with the blood of lambs, were spared. Pharaoh, devastated, finally relented. "Go, take your people and leave." The Israelites left in haste, carrying what they could. Their hearts were filled with both relief and fear. Behind them, Pharaoh once again changed his mind. He sent his chariots and soldiers in pursuit. Before the Israelites stretched the vast Red Sea. Behind them thundered Pharaoh's army. Panic broke out. "Why did you bring us here to die, Moses? It would have been better to remain slaves than to perish here." But Moses stood firm. "Do not be afraid. Stand still, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." He raised his staff over the waters. All night, a strong wind blew, and the sea parted. Walls of water rose on either side, and a dry path appeared. The Israelites stepped forward, trembling yet hopeful. Families clutched one another, children held their parents' hands, and elders walked carefully between the towering waters. They reached the far shore safely. The Egyptians rushed in after them. But Moses stretched out his hand again, and the sea closed in, swallowing the chariots and soldiers. On the distant shore, the Israelites lifted their voices in song. "The Lord has triumphed gloriously. The horse and rider he has thrown into the sea." The crossing of the Red Sea is not just history, it is a symbol. Each of us has our own Red Sea, an impossible situation, a crushing fear, a hardship that blocks the way forward. Sometimes we feel trapped, before us the sea, behind us the enemy. But Moses' story reminds us, with faith, a way will open. Moses was not perfect. He had killed a man, fled in fear, doubted himself. But he was chosen because he was willing to trust. And through his trust, an entire nation was delivered. This is the lesson for us. Even in our weakness, when we keep faith, the impossible becomes possible. This is the story of Moses, the chosen one. An ordinary man who, through faith, accomplished the extraordinary. In the next episode of God, Chosen Ones, we will travel east to discover the story of Guanyin, the bodhisattva of compassion, a figure who listens to the cries of all beings. Until then, may peace be with you and your family.